Beatrix has very few changes to her kit. After going through the comments section, I was politely informed that I completely made a mistake in my original take of this video. I confused her fireball, Moonlight Fireball. Moonlight? What's the name of it? Star Chaser. We're gonna look that up. For those of you who've seen the original video, you'll know that I mistakenly talked about Star Chaser, her fireball, when the patch notes specifically talked about Brass Sword. From the notes themselves, I actually had no context to go off of that they were talking about their light DP. I simply got knowledge checked by the patch notes, and I didn't do my due diligence to make sure I was talking about the right move. I should have realized something was up when I basically was seeing consistent behavior between the two fireballs, and now I realize I gaslighted myself into seeing some differences with the fireball's speed. For that, I apologize, and because of that grave error, I didn't want the video stand in its original flawed version, so I decided to redo it and upload it here to correctly talk about Embrask's sword. Embrask's sword's light version had its travel speed increase as well as its reach. Before, this is what it looked like. Here's what it looks like now. This is very noticeable, and this largely just pertains to her having a better ability to get a knockdown on some less rewarding hits. The patch notes themselves specifically mention that she should be able to consistently link this from a far light attack. This is nice for her because if she's able to get out on these ranged hits, she had a hard time actually securing a knockdown before. Or really anything to connect for that matter. As you can see, between her fast light versions and fast heavy versions of her attacks, only the heavy version of Riding Free was actually able to combo on the opponent there. Considering the potency of that move in her kit, there's a high chance that she was going to have that on cooldown, so now with the Brass Sword's buff, she's able to get knockdowns out of this range. So this is something that she'll quite appreciate. Compare that to before. With the mistake corrected, it's time to let the rest of the video play out as I originally designed it. Thanks again for pointing out that mistake, and I'm entirely sorry that I aired like that. Medium and heavy Thunderbird had their guard motion range increased. What this basically means is that Beatrix can be farther away, use these moves, and if the opponent is holding back, they'll stop walking and hold their guard animation instead. This is what it looked like before. You had to be pretty close to make this work. This is what it looks like now. As you can see, the opponent is less likely to be walking back out of this one, so Beatrix appreciates being able to threaten these options from a little farther away, especially since they're plus on block. Medium Heavy and Ultimate Thunderbird had a couple of adjustments to help with it behaving consistently when the opponent blocks it in midair. Usually, if you use the EX version of this move, for example, and the opponent blocks it, you're +4. However, there'd be some situations where if you got the opponent to block the downwards kick of Thunderbird while they were in midair, you get varying plus frames. Here, we were able to become +13. With the changes to behavior, you should be pretty much placed in that same consistent +4 situation instead of having variable frame data like we were seeing. It's just a nice little bit of quality of life thing to make sure that the opponent and Beatrix can rely on a consistent situation instead of having to react to whatever this is. Ultimate Thunderbird also had a bug fix where the fire pillar will cause unintended knockback in specific instances, so those bugs are gone. I'm not sure what they were. If a Beatrix player knows, we'd love to hear about it. There was also an issue with Delta Clock where it would not behave properly when handicaps were turned on, as that is not at all anything that I think most of us are concerned with. That is all I'm going to mention of it. I am going to redo a little bit of an outro here. I swapped my monitor so I have a far more stable monitor with less shaky cam, so that was something that bugged me in the original take. Thank you to everybody who pointed out the flaw in the original Beatrix video. I can't believe I still got a special move crossed up, especially since, like, I have a vague memory of, like, looking it up and remembering a Brass Sword was a DP, but just from the context of talking about speed and range and reach, I kind of got the impression of a fireball a little bit, but I think that was just me in my late-night exhausted state misinterpreting the text that was on with the patch notes, and also just completely getting names of Beatrix's special moves wrong. Again, thanks for pointing that out, and I just couldn't stand to let the video exist in its original version, talking about the completely wrong special move and doing analysis on an unchanged fireball. So, and thank you again for supporting all the patch note videos all the way through. This was a pretty successful project, in my opinion, even despite my couple of flaws, namely with the Beatrix video, as well as forgetting to upload Anila and Grimnir. Those videos are out now, so do check them out. They're in the playlist that I have, so the entire cast is done, and I want to finalize the patch 1.50 video by doing one last follow-up video as well. I'm going to be doing a little bit of a tier listing, if you will, of the biggest winners and biggest losers of the patch. So I'm going to be coming up with some categories, placements, and all that stuff, and I'm going to be looking for a couple of friends of mine to collab with me on that. So hopefully you guys enjoy that and can look forward to it. Thanks again for watching, commenting, sharing, and supporting, as well as subscribing to the channel. The project started, I've gained over 500 subscribers, and so now the channel has crossed over 3,000, which is pretty cool. I have my other social media links in the description below in case you care to catch up with me there as well, and I'll be seeing you all around very soon.